Budget 2021 furlough scheme to be extended until September. The Chancellor will extend the furlough scheme until the end of September when he makes his budget speech later. Rishi Sunak said the scheme, which pays 80% of employees' wages for the hours they cannot work in the pandemic, would help millions through the challenging months ahead. Some 600,000 more self-employed people will also be eligible for government help as access to grants is widened. But Labour said the support scheme should have been extended months ago. Mr. Sunak will outline a three-point plan to support people through the coming months, rebuild the economy, and fix the public finance in the wake of the pandemic when he delivers his statement to the Commons at around 12:30 GMT. But he has warned of tough economic times ahead, and there are reports that he plans to raise some taxes. Nice at the end of the tunnel. The coronavirus job retention scheme has protected more than 11 million jobs since its inception and had been due to close at the end of April. Employers will be expected to pay 10% towards the hours their staff do not work in July, increasing to 20% in August and September as the economy reopens. Speaking ahead of the budget, the Chancellor said, "Our COVID support schemes have been a lifeline to millions, protecting jobs and incomes across the UK. There's now light at the end of the tunnel.
Tunnel.
There's now light at the end of the tunnel with a roadmap for reopening, so it's only wise that we continue to help business and individuals through the challenging months ahead and beyond. Further support for self-employed workers will also be announced by Mr. Sunak. A fourth grant from the Self-Employment Income Support Scheme will be available to claim from April, worth 80% of 3 months average trading profits up to £7,500, while the Chancellor will set out details of a fifth grant. The Treasury said that hundreds of thousands more people will be eligible for the grants this time, as tax return data for 2019 to 20 is now available. Mr. Sunak previously faced criticism that newly self-employed people were unable to benefit from the scheme previously. The jobs are the great hope. It is incredible to think that last year's budget did not even contain the word furlough. It is incredible to think that last year's budget did not even contain the word furlough. Officials' confirmations of a pandemic came hours after its publication, swiftly rendering most of its numbers obsolete. But so far in this crisis, unemployment has gone up only modestly. Furlough and the salary support scheme for the self-employed have prevented mass unemployment. These extensions now aim to prevent a rapid rise in joblessness at the end of the schemes. The BBC understands that unemployment forecasts will be revised down on Wednesday, as the Chancellor promised to deploy his full fiscal firepower to protect livelihoods. The theme of the budget red book at more than £10 billion. This intervention is almost worthy of a budget in and of itself, but the full document will reveal whether the Chancellor's borrowing spree is limited to the vast-scale phase of this crisis, of if his confidence in a job bounce back means the economy does not need further stimulus and could even sustain some business focused tax rise after the jobs. The jobs are the great hope. Moment of crisis. The Chancellor will pledge to use the government's full fiscal firepower to protect jobs and livelihoods, willing to do whatever it takes to help business and people. He is expected to tell MPs, first, we will continue doing whatever it takes to support the British people and business through this moment of crisis. Second, once we are on the way to recovery, we will need to begin fixing the public finance, and I want to be honest today about our plans to do that. And third, in today's budget, we begin the work of building our future economy. He says to extend the £20 a week top up to universal credit for 6 months to help struggling households, a government source told the BBC. Mr. Sunak has already promised more money for the vaccination rollout, a £5 million scheme to help high street business reopen, and a mortgage guarantee scheme to help first-time buyers. Other support is expected to include £408 million for museums, theaters and galleries in England to help them reopen when COVID restrictions ease. £150 million to help communities take over pubs in danger of closing. £300 million sum of sports recovery package, including cash for England cricket. It has also been reported that the stamp duty holiday, which is due to end on the 31st of March, could be extended. But Mr. Sunak faces a potential row with some Conservative MPs if he imposed tax increase to tackle the huge hole in the government's balance sheet. Amid warnings they could stifle economic growth. Many workers across the hospitality Many workers across the hospitality, entertainment, and retail industry have been furloughed. Many workers across the hospitality, entertainment, and retail industries have been furloughed. The extension to the furlough scheme was welcomed by business organizations, with the CBI's chief economist Ring Newton-Smith, saying it will keep millions more in work and give businesses a chance to catch their breath as we carefully exit lockdown. Economic think tank the Resolution Foundation's chief executive Thorstein Bill said the phrased tapering off of the scheme will avoid a risky cliff edge. cliff edge for employers, but warned that the peak of unemployment is ahead rather than behind. However, Bridget Phillipson, Labour Shadow Chief Secretary to the Treasury, said the changes to support schemes could have been made months ago, accusing Mr. Sunak of focusing on getting his moment in the sun rather than protecting jobs and livelihood. And Nan McCluskey, General Secretary of Unite, said that while the extra months of furlough supports offer some stability in the rocky months ahead, the scheme should be extended until 2022.